Well, we use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and other tech on a daily basis, but rarely do we think about exactly how it works. A ninth grade class in Middleton, though, is diving into the world of electricity and magnetism. Our Brenda Rodriguez tells us how this week's innovative educator helps her students troubleshoot those findings.
In Mrs. Katie Ribordy's classroom, students aren't just learning the basics of science or engineering.
Well, we were learning about electricity and how electricity is generated and how it's transported throughout the country.
All while learning how some of their favorite tech works.
All about the different technologies around us, right? Like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and how all of that works.
More specifically, her ninth graders are learning about the complexity of electricity and magnetism.
So they were able to make their own electric circuits. We were able to make our own electromagnets, and we were able to measure electric current induced by a magnet with galvanometers.
And through their findings, they've also ran into some issues.
We learned that a lot of the infrastructure for electricity is really outdated, and it's costing us a lot of money, and it's also just really not very efficient.
Their study led them to learn more about the power outages and why that happens.
We talked about the power outage in Texas that happened a few years ago that was really bad. And so my students were able to see like the real world consequences of this lack of really great electrical infrastructure.
So they went to work to find a solution.
They were able to really apply what we were learning to these hands-on labs, and that allowed them to come up with, they wrote essays where they came up with solutions for a problem that had to do with our use of electricity today.
She says this type of learning is one of a kind.
I think having the lens of science, right, being able to inquire and investigate things is really important in all aspects of life.
Regardless of what life path each student chooses.
Even if you don't consider yourself a scientist, a lot of people practice science every day.
And she hopes her students practice what they learn in her classroom.
I want my students to be innovators.
Katie Ribordy, innovative educator.
Mrs. Ribordy's received a CAP-Ed grant in December. She was able to get more materials for her classrooms with that grant. And educators, for information on submitting an application for a classroom grant of your own through the Idaho CAP-Ed Foundation, you can just head on over to ktvb.com. And if you would like to nominate an innovative educator, send us an email to innovativeeducator@ktvb.com.